Rob Geo 0407L presents Musical Synopsis Fridays, Episode 1, The Music Man. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't seen The Music Man yet, there will be spoilers ahead. But if you have seen The Music Man, that's great. Anyways, enjoy.
What is it all about?
The Music Man is a musical with book, music, and lyrics by Meredith Willson, based on a story by him and Franklin Lacey. The plot concerns con man Harold Hill, who poses as a boys' band organizer and leader and sells band instruments and uniforms to naive Midwestern townsfolk, promising to train the members of the new band. Harold is no musician, however, and plans to skip town without giving any music lessons. Prim librarian and piano teacher Marion sees through him, but when Harold helps her younger brother overcome his lisp and social awkwardness, Marion begins to fall in love. Harold risks being caught to win her. In 1957, the show became a hit on Broadway, winning 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and running for 1,375 performances. The cast album won the first Grammy Award for Best Musical Theater Album and spent 245 weeks on the Billboard charts. The show's success led to revivals, including a long-running 2000 Broadway revival, a popular 1962 film adaptation, and a 2003 television adaptation. It is frequently produced by both professional and amateur theater companies.
Act 1.
In the early summer of 1912, aboard a train leaving Rock Island, Illinois, Charlie Cow and other traveling salesmen argue about consumer credit. The conversation turns to another topic, a con man known as Professor Harold Hill, who scams parents by promising to form boys' bands, taking payments for instruments and uniforms, and skipping town with the money before being exposed. Upon the train's arrival in River City, Iowa, a stranger declares, "Gentlemen, you intrigue me. I think I shall have to give Iowa a try." Retrieving his suitcase labeled Professor Harold Hill, he exits the train. After townspeople of River City describe their reserved, chip-on-the-shoulder attitude, Harold sees his old friend and shill, Marcellus Washburn, who has gone legit and now lives in the town. Marcellus tells Harold that Marion Peru, the librarian who gives piano lessons, is the only trained musician in town. He also informs Hill that a new pool table was just delivered to the town's local billiard parlor. So to launch his scheme, Harold convinces River City parents of the trouble that can come from a pool table. Harold follows Marion home, attempting to flirt with her, but she ignores him. Marion gives a piano lesson to a little girl named Amaryllis while arguing with her widowed mother about her high standards where men are concerned. She mentions the man who followed her home. Marion's self-conscious 10-year-old brother Winthrop arrives home. Amaryllis, who secretly likes Winthrop but teases him about his lisp, asks Marion to whom she should say goodnight on the evening star, since she doesn't have a sweetheart. Marion tells her to just say goodnight to her someone. The next day, Mayor Shin and his overbearing wife Eulalie McKechnie Shin lead the festivities for Independence Day at the high school gym, but are interrupted by a firecracker set up by troublemaker Tommy Gillis. Harold takes the stage and announces to the townspeople that he will prevent sin and corruption from the pool table by forming a boys' band. Mayor Shin, who owns the billiard parlor, tells the bickering school board to get Harold's credentials, but Harold gets them to sing as a barbershop quartet to distract them. Harold also sets up Zanita, the mayor's eldest daughter, with Tommy, and persuades Tommy to work as his assistant. After another rejection by Marion, Harold is determined to win her. The town ladies are very excited about the band and the ladies' dance committee that Harold plans to form. He mentions Marion, and they imply, falsely it turns out, that she had an affair with a now deceased miser who willed the library building to the town but left all the books to Marion. They warn Harold that she advocates dirty books by Chaucer, Rabelais, and Balzac. The school board arrives to review Harold's credentials, but he leads them in song and slips away. The next day, Harold walks into the library to woo Marion in earnest. For a moment, She forgets her decorum and dances with Harold and the teenagers. Harold kisses her. When she tries to slap him, she accidentally hits Tommy instead. With Tommy's help, Harold signs up all the boys in town to be in his band, including Winthrop. Mrs. Peru likes Harold and tries to find out why Marion is not interested. Marion describes her ideal man. She sets out to give Mayor Shin evidence against Harold that she found in the Indiana State Educational Journal, but they are interrupted by the arrival of the Wells Fargo wagon, which delivers the band instruments. When Winthrop forgets to be shy and self-conscious because he is so happy about his new cornet, Marion begins to see Harold in a new light. She tears the incriminating page out of the journal before giving the book to Mayor Shin.
Act 2.
The ladies rehearse their classical dance in the school gym while the school board practices their quartet for the ice cream social. Marcellus and the town's teenagers interrupt the ladies' practice, taking over the gym as they dance. Harold grabs Marion to dance with her, and all the teenagers join in. Regarding Winthrop's cornet, Marion later questions Harold about his claim that you don't have to bother with the notes. He explains that this is what he calls the think system, and he arranges to call on Marion to discuss it. The town ladies ask Marion to join their dance committee, since she was so dear dancing the shapoopy with Professor Hill. They have reversed their opinions about her books, and they eagerly tell her that the professor told us to read those books, and we simply adored them all. That night, the school board tries to collect Harold's credentials again, but he gets them to sing again and slips away. Marion, meanwhile, is sitting on her front porch thinking of Harold. Winthrop returns home after spending time with Harold and tells Marion and Mrs. Peru about Harold's hometown. As Marion waits alone for Harold, traveling salesman Charlie Cowell enters with evidence against Harold, hoping to tell Mayor Shin. He only has a few minutes before his train leaves, but stops to flirt with Marion. She delays him so he won't have time to deliver the evidence, eventually kissing him. As the train whistle blows, she pushes him away. Charlie angrily tells Marion that Harold has a girl in every county in Illinois, and he's taken it from every one of them, and that's 102 counties. Harold arrives, and after he reminds her of the untrue rumors he's heard about her, she convinces herself that Charlie invented everything he told her. They agree to meet at the footbridge, where Marion tells him the difference he's made in her life. Marcellus interrupts and tells Harold that the uniforms have arrived. He urges Harold to take the money and run, but Harold refuses to leave, insisting, I've come up through the ranks, and I'm not resigning without my commission. He returns to Marion, who tells him that she's known since 3 days after he arrived that he's a fraud. Because she loves him, she gives him the incriminating page out of the Indiana State Educational Journal. She leaves, promising to see him at the sociable. With his schemes for the boys' band and Marion proceeding even better than planned, Harold confidently sings 76 trombones. As he overhears Marion singing Good Night, My Someone, Harold suddenly realizes that he is in love with Marion, and he and Marion sing a snatch of each other's songs. Meanwhile, Charlie Cowell, who has missed his train, arrives at the ice cream social and denounces Harold Hill as a fraud. The townspeople begin an agitated search for Harold. Winthrop is heartbroken and tells Harold that he wishes Harold never came to River City. But Marion tells Winthrop that she believes everything Harold ever said, for it did come true in the way every kid in town talked and acted that summer. She and Winthrop urge Harold to get away. He chooses to stay and tells Marion that he never really fell in love until he met her. The constable then handcuffs Harold and leads him away. Mayor Shin leads a meeting in the high school gym to decide what to do with Harold, asking, Where's the band? Where's the band? Marion defends Harold. Tommy enters as a drum major, followed by the kids in uniform with their instruments. Marion urges Harold to lead the River City Boys Band in Beethoven's Minuet in G. Despite the boys' limited musical ability, the parents in the audience are nonetheless enraptured by the sight of their children playing music. Even Mayor Shin is won over, and as the townspeople cheer, Harold is released into Marion's arms.
The end.
Hey there guys, Robert here. I want to thank you all so much for watching the series premiere of Musical Synopsis Fridays. Honestly, that was a lot of fun to do. I messed up a couple of times while making this video, and yeah, honestly, that took a lot to do, as I said before, especially with making these musical segments like Act 1, Act 2, the end, and what is it all about? You know, those musical segments. There will be more episodes like this every single Friday. And yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!